Today I'm going to be reviewing another NLT Bible from Tyndale, and this is the one-year Chronological Study Bible, and this was just recently released on, I believe, September 6th, and there is a hardcover and there's a soft cover. So I have the hardcover edition. Both covers, from what I've seen, look pretty similar, except one is obviously hardcover and one is a paperback softcover. So the spine also looks the same, has the same type of design as we see on the front. There is no gilding, and it is a sewn binding. As I get into this today, I want to apologize if I sound a little stuffy. I've been a little under the weather this week, had a little cold, so I'm pretty much better now, but I just sound a little bit stuffy, so I apologize for that. It does come in this little sleeve, and I'm just going to look at the back of that for a moment here as well. It says, the greatest story ever told in engaging chronological order. On 365 daily readings, read the entire Bible in 1 year. A captivating and inspirational reading experience as you journey through the entire Bible in the New Living Translation, arranged in chronological order and divided into 365 daily readings with an introduction and discovery questions each day. The Bible's magnificent story unfolds with greater clarity and power as you read a section each day, with the chronological ordering of the entire Bible arranged in an easy-to-follow 14-era format that aligns the narrative, history, teachings, and redemptive story in a seamless account. The story reads the way we're used to a story reading, from the beginning to the end, with all of the elements woven together in a timeline from the ancient past to the promised future. With the text of the clear and accurate New Living Translation, you can better understand the Bible in familiar language and experience its truth in your life. So we're also going to see daily introductions, there are era overviews, and theme articles that provide context and build understanding of the grand story of the Bible, and then discovery questions promote daily personal reflection and application, and perfect for group or individual use. So I will show you all these features a little closer once we get into this Bible here. It came with like a little bookmark as well. Whoops, as I just smacked the camera with it. So it has Romans 15:4 on it. And then on the back, you're going to see the 14 eras there. So try to show it to you without the glare. Hopefully you can see it. So we're going to start out here with a presentation page. And a table of contents. And then we have a beginning pages for books of the Bible content, a little introduction on this side as well. We have a note to readers and a user's guide. And then we're going to go over these 14 eras, a story arc of the Bible. So these eras that we're going to see provide a framework for this Bible, and you're going to see the creation era, the patriarch era, the Exodus era, conquest era, and then we have judges, kingdom, divided kingdom, captivity, return, silent, gospel, church, missions, and end and new beginning. Next, we're going to see an explanation of the features. So this Bible is going to have discover the story articles. There are 14 of those because there's 14 different eras, and they just give you an overview of each of those eras to just help you understand how the Bible fits together as one big story. There's also going to be charts and maps, and it gives you the pages that you can actually find those visuals on. You're also going to get daily introductions. So there's a brief introduction with each day's reading that provides a snapshot of the developing story. And at the end of each day's reading then, there's going to be discovery questions, and there are 3 sets of thought-provoking questions that engage the reader's attention. And then there's going to be understand the story articles, and there are 16 of those. And these address particular themes and track God's activity through the story. And each article connects God's activity from one era to both past and future eras. Next, we're going to see how to use this Bible individually and communally. So you can read this on your own, of course, or it also gives you an outline of how you could use this with a small group. And then we have asking discovery questions. A little explanation of that. And then we're going to get into the Old Testament. So we see here an Old Testament overview. And at the bottom of each set of pages, you're going to see those 14 eras and the pictures that go with each of those. Okay, and then this is the article about the overview article, I guess I should say, of the creation era before we get into Genesis. Just gives you an outline of that. And then here is our first reading. So again, this Bible is organized chronologically, so it's not going to be in the exact order that we're used to seeing in our other Bibles. It's not one you're going to be able to easily carry to church or follow along with in Bible study. This one is strictly for reading through the Bible in chronological order, so it will take pieces, for example, when you're reading David's story, it might pull a psalm that David wrote from later from the book of Psalms, even though you're reading David's story from the book of like 1st or 2nd Samuel. So it will combine books. When you read the Gospels, they will be of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Like they will be, the stories from there will be in chronological order. So it's just a bit of a different layout, but it really is, in my opinion, so helpful to read through the Bible in chronological order. I have done that before, and I found it to be a very valuable experience, just in understanding the Bible as one whole story. So anyway, at the beginning of each day, this is January 1st, day 1, it gives you a little introduction here, and then you will read your scripture, which starts down here. And then you get into day 2. But before you do, forgot to mention these as well. You have daily discovery questions. So there's 3 questions at the end of your reading. And then the next day would be day 2, January 2nd. Again, you have that introduction, you have your scripture, and at the end will be your 3 daily discovery questions. There are a couple articles throughout as well. This is Understand the Story God Tells Us About Himself. It's about a page long. And then you get back into your day 2. And here's your questions, and then get into day 3. The font appears to be about an 8, maybe 8.5. I'd say about an 8.5 size, and obviously it's a double column layout. And this is the introduction overview of the Patriarch era. Then you have a World of the Patriarchs map. I really like the layout in this. I like how it has introductions, an introduction for the day to kind of get you into your reading for that day. I like how you read the scripture and then it gives you questions to think about. So it's not just something you're checking off your list for the day. It also makes you engage and think about what you're reading as well. One thing I would have really liked to see in this is a little more color, just like these maps, and the introductions are a little bit of a darker gray, and the same thing for the eras at the bottom of each page. It would just been nice to see a little bit of color. That's just, personal preference. There's nothing wrong with it, but just for me, I'd like to have a little more color. Just think it would have made it pop just a little more. But the NLT, the New Living Translation, is very easy to understand. My church uses it often, and it's a great translation if you are really trying to maybe read through the Bible for the first time, or maybe try to read through to get a little more understanding. This is a really easy to understand and relate to translation. It's the first translation that I used to read through the Bible a couple years ago, and I'm thinking about going back and doing a reread of the NLT next year. I haven't quite decided. I do use my NLT Bibles a lot, so I haven't quite decided what translation I will read through next year. I've read through several already. but I may go back to the NLT just because I really like how easy it is to read and understand. So when we get into New Testament books later on in the year here, you will see that it is a black letter text. I don't believe it's line matched. I can't really tell. I don't believe it is, but there's no, there's not a lot of ghosting or anything like that, so it's pretty easy to read. And then when we get to the end of the Bible, let's just turn here. There's a couple things at the end here. You're going to have an index to features and Bible helps. These are the Discover the Story era overviews, so you can see the 14 different eras and their overview and what page each is on. These are your Understand the Story articles and which page you can find those on. Your charts and maps, and of course the page references for those. And then you have a scripture index if you're looking for a specific verse. You can look it up here and find the page number since it's not necessarily in the same order that you're used to in your other Bibles, and just a way for you to look up particular verses. And then that is the end of the Bible. So again, this is a really great Bible if you are trying to read through the Bible in a year, if you're interested in reading through the Bible chronologically. The NLT is a really great translation. I highly recommend that. And this would be, there's a soft cover and there's a hardback. It's not super big, so it'll be easy to carry along with you throughout the year as you read it. The only thing I would change about this is, like I said, maybe for it to be a little more color in it, a little more colorful, not just that gray. And have a ribbon marker maybe as well, because it does not have that. Although they do provide you, I put it over here, they do provide you with this bookmark, so that's nice to use, and that's probably what I'm going to use when I read through this. But yeah, those are the only two things I would really change. The font's kind of small, but it's not unreadable in my opinion. It could be a little bigger, maybe a size bigger, but that's also going to make a bigger or thicker Bible, so you just kind of have to decide there's going to be a trade-off there somewhere. So I understand why they did what they did. But again, great Bible to read through the year as we're heading towards read through in a year, if I can speak. As we're heading towards the end of 2022, it would be a good one to grab as a Christmas present and for you or for someone else, and to start reading through as we hit 2023. So again, this is the 1 Year Chronological Bible and the NLT from Tyndale.